I'm going to record another set of instructions with you guys right now of how to do your article, academic article summary. So you guys found an academic article based on your Beast artwork. And so I know you were just as happy as this person is to find that article with all the rules that I put in place for finding that article. I know they were difficult to find, but here's what I want you to do next. So after you find that article, I want you to read the article and take notes. Take notes on things that you find interesting, take notes on things that you learn, and take notes on things that you think are important. So here's a couple of tips on notes. One thing is, I want you to write down the page numbers as you go along and take notes. This is going to be very important for when we do the footnotes. And so it helps when you are taking notes and you take down the page numbers. When you are reading your article, that number up here is not the page of the article, it's just the page of the PDF that you are reading. You'll find the page of the article is either in the upper corner of your pages or down in the lower corners of your pages. It might help if the article has different sections. They sometimes do that. For example, in this article right here, it has these different headings. And so you put that in your notes because then that makes it easier to find later on when you're writing your summary. All right, for articles, pay close attention to what the author is trying to prove. In most of these articles, the author is saying something that's different than most art historians. So if most art historians think that Leonardo da Vinci did such and so, this article disproves that, and here's the reasons why. That's mostly what articles are. There's just some new and different way of looking at something. And that's why academic articles are important. Then you are going to begin your written essay, and you're going to tell me what the author wrote in the article. So here's what I want to hear in your article or in your writing. I want to hear you say something like, at the beginning of the article, the author says, and then tell me what the author says at the beginning. And then you'll say, in the middle of the article, the author said, and then you tell me what the author said in the middle of the article. And in the end of the article, you might say something like, here at the end of the article, the author said such and so. That's an easy way to organize this summary that you're going to write. This summary is going to be about 2 pages, about 3 to 4 paragraphs, and you're going to tell me what the author wrote in the article. In this class, in my art history class, I don't want to see introductions or conclusions in your essays. I am shortening these assignments to as short as I think they should be to just get to the meat of what you are trying to say. Just tell me what the author wrote in the article. Your English teacher teaches you to write with an introduction and a conclusion. We're just not going to do that in this class. All right, so I shouldn't see any. We're going to do footnotes in this class. And so when do you use a footnote? You use a footnote anytime you are putting in something that somebody else's idea, somebody else's writing, somebody else that found the fact, you give them that credit for what you wrote in your essay. In my class, I expect about 3 footnotes per paper that you're going to write in this class. And if we get a little bit closer, your first footnote will have the whole citation of your article. The second footnote is just going to have the last name. You can abbreviate or shorten the article title and then the page number that it came from. And the same with the third. This is what I want the footnotes to look like. I am going to give you a link to a video on YouTube that explains how to do a footnote in Word. There's another one that I'm going to give you, how to do a footnote in Google Docs. These videos will also be in D2L. Your bibliography should look like this. What is weird about Chicago style? And we are writing in Chicago style. Chicago style is mostly for history classes. and history academics. Since we are in a history academic, we'll be using Chicago style. The first line is not indented, and every line after that is indented. Your computer is going to fight with you about doing that, and you're just going to have to try a bunch of different ways to get that done. Also, it is single spaced, so I do not want to see any gaps between these lines. Also, if you go back to JSTOR where you got the article from and you find the article again, there is this. All right, so here you found the article again. Over on the right side, download, that's where you got the article from, but then it says cite right here. And you click on that and it cites it for you Chicago style. You can just copy paste that into your assignment and just move that first line to the left and every line after that to the right. All right, the style of this is going to look formal, but it's going to sound casual. So look at this guy. He's all business up top, but down below, he's ready for the beach. Oh, he's ready to relax. So that's what ours is going to look formal. It's going to have a header and footnotes, and it's going to follow formatting. But when I read through it, it should sound like your voice. And in this class, I am shortening the assignments. So I just want you to get to the meat of the subject. Just tell me what you read in those 20 pages. I don't want to read a overall introduction. I don't want to read a conclusion. I've shortened the assignment to one page. Cram it all into that one page. And it should be a full page, not a half page.
Yo, what it do? This week on Thug Notes, we getting love struck with Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. Up in a swanky part of Verona, two families called the Montagues and the Capulets been beefing since forever. After dodging an all-out war in the streets, Big Daddy Montague and his boo Lady Montague start talking about their emo son Romeo, who got it bad for some fox Rosaline. But Rosaline ain't feeling it, and now Romeo moping around like he done lost his nuts. So Romeo's homeos, Benvolio and Mercutio, try to get his mind off that trick by crashing a party over at the Capulet's crib. But as soon as Romeo peeps the most tappable ass of Juliet Capulet, he forgets all about that Rosaline mess and steps up to holler like a champ. Romeo loves himself some fast women, so he drops his A game, gets a little lip action, and snags those digits. Get it, Romeo. Then Romeo creeps up to Juliet's balcony. Turns out, she batshit crazy in love with him too. But since their families got so much beef, they gotta keep it all on the DL. Next day, Romeo and Juliet run off to local preacher man Friar Lawrence's spot and get hitched. Later, Benvolio and Mercutio taking it easy when Tybalt, the baddest mofo of all the Capulets, steps up and starts talking shit. Mercutio boot up and starts scrapping with Tybalt, till Romeo busts in and tries to break it up. But Romeo just gets in the way and Tybalt shanks Mercutio. Damn. Romeo goes from whiny bitch to the hardest thug in the streets and straight murks Tybalt. The Prince of Verona had it with all this gang violence, so he boots Romeo right out of town. When Juliet's mama says she gotta marry some candy-ass scrub named Paris, Juliet gets all torn up and hits up Friar Lawrence for some help. Friar Daddy comes up with a plan to fake Juliet's death by giving her some juice that makes her take a long-ass nap. Then he's gonna write Romeo a letter saying all he has to do is play it cool, and once Juliet wakes up, Romeo will have a lifetime supply of poontang. Problem is, the letter never makes it to Romeo. So when he hears Juliet bit the dust, he thinks this shit's for real. Romeo straight flips. So he rolls up to Juliet's crib, peeps her laying stiff, and throws back some poison. When Juliet wakes up and sees his dead body, she gets all crunk, grabs a knife, and kills herself. Teenagers, man, damn. Peep this motif, blood. Willie Shakes flipping opposites all up in his play. Love, hate, youth, age, life, death. I ain't even tripping. Even characters got opposites. For example, While Benvolio be all chill and peace-loving, Tybalt always coming out hard, trying to throw down. Shit. You can even peep these paradoxes in the text, B. My only love sprung from my only hate. My grave is like to be my wedding bed. But Willie ain't just playing. All these clashing opposites making that dramatic action more intense. Listen up, partner. The full title of this play is The Most Excellent and Lamentable Tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. Except, is it really a tragedy? Some homies don't think so. See, in most tragedies, the characters got something in their dome that's so up that no matter what, they're gonna end up feeling the hurt. Peeps call this the tragic flaw. Thing is, some thugs say Romeo and Juliet ain't rolling with no tragic flaws. It ain't their fault that shit gets so cray. But what is tragic is that something else is tripping up their game. Chance. All throughout this play, fate doing our lovers straight dirty. Just look at all these ridiculous coincidences. That letter don't find Romeo, the friar too late in stopping him, Juliet wakes up right after Romeo bit the big one. I could go on, player. So when the prologue saying that these kids be star-crossed, maybe it's cause the heavens got an in for these fools. But maybe it ain't fate so much as it is kids acting like stupid little shits. Some say Romeo and Juliet's tragic flaw be a love all insane in the membrane, and they willing to do anything to keep it real. Even Friar Lawrence say that shit a sin. These violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die like fire and powder, which as they kiss consume. The sweetest honey is loathsome in its own deliciousness, and in the taste confounds the appetite. Therefore love moderately, love doth so. Too swift arrives as tardy as too slow. Could be they ain't sinning at all, but that the world that they live in is just too twisted to deal with a love as pure as theirs. Maybe it ain't our lovers that got the flaws, son. Maybe it's the world. But all scholars agree it would be a damn tragedy if you didn't subscribe. Peace, y'all.
Okay, all right. The reason why I showed you this, shh, quiet please. The reason why I showed you this, is he in a formal setting?
Yes.
Yes. Is the structure of this video a formal structure?
No.
It was a,
Oh,
he did the synopsis first, and then he analyzed, and then you heard the classical music in the background. It's a formal structure. Now, are his words formal? No, all right, very informal, all right, or informal. So what I want is for you guys, we're going to have a very formal looking document, but when I read your writing, I should hear your voice. I don't want it to sound like Wikipedia. I don't want it to sound like AI. I don't want it to sound like a textbook. I want it to sound like you. All right, so you can put yourself into this. So basically on this, tell me what you learned. All right, and you can use I statements in this. All right, does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so that's the point of showing you Thug Notes. Also in D2L, I have an example for you to look at. So this is what it should look like. There's 2 pages of writing. There's 1 page that has your bibliography on it, nothing else. And then I want you to photograph your notes and attach those all into one PDF. There is a template in D2L. You don't have to construct this assignment. I've constructed it for you. I'm giving it to you. All you have to do is change the words. Before we go on, also, when you submit this, you are going to record a video of what is in the document, right? So you just wrote it. It should be fresh in your mind. So tell me in the video what you wrote. I'm only going to briefly skim it when you turn it in, but I'm going to deeply read it when I grade the final product. And so if I read it and it sounds like AI or it sounds like plagiarism, I'm going to go back and watch the video and see if you know what you're talking about. It's just a check for me. And it's a way to prove that you know the material. Like the guy in the video, he knew the material. The length of this video can be totally up to you. It can be less than a minute. This girl went way over the top, at almost 9 minutes. But, it's totally up to you. All right. It's however long it takes for you to explain what you just wrote. You are not allowed to look at any notes during this video. It has to be 100% from your brain. And if you submit the document without the video, I'm just not going to grade the video. I'm going to, do an 11.11, and I'm not going to look at it until you submit the video that goes along with it. Okay, so grading. When you turn it in and you turn it in on time and there's no mistakes, I'm going to give it 100. And at this point, like I said before, I'm only skimming through your writing. I'm not reading it deeply. I will read it deeply when you have turned in this assignment in with your final product. That's when I'm going to read it deeply. So any mistakes, any grammatical errors or mistakes that I don't catch the first time, I will definitely catch it when I grade the final product. All right. So just because you got 100 on this when you turn it in doesn't mean that it's perfect and there won't be mistakes on it when I grade it in the final product. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. Basically, these previews is I'm just getting you to turn the beast in parts on time. That's basically it. The other basic thing is I'm going to be grading most for formatting. So when everything is formatted correctly, it makes it easy for me to read at the end. So I'm going to make all these corrections. In fact, if you turn it down on time and it has mistakes, I'm going to make corrections and I'm going to give you a 50. And if you show me that you saw the corrections, I will change that 50 to 100. So show me evidence that you looked at my corrections. So that could be a screenshot of my corrections posted back in the assignment. That could be a selfie with you and the corrections on the screen. It could be a thumbs up with the corrections on the screen. It could be something else. You can be creative. It doesn't have to be these three things. If you turn it in late, it gets a 0.01, right? The reason why I do that is so that if you're turning things in late and then I go back in later and I can see that you are still turning things in, it shows that you are still trying. It's not like you're not turning. It's the difference between turning something in late and not turning in anything at all. So it shows to me that you're trying, and that if you need help later on, I can look and say, oh, this is a student that's trying. I'm more willing to help a student that's trying than a student that has a bunch of zeros because they've just never turned anything in. Does that make sense? Also, turning things in late, I will still show you the corrections so you can make those corrections so that when you turn it in on the final product, you will have corrected those things and have a higher score. So that's the benefit of turning something in late, even though you don't get the grade. And don't turn things in, you get a 0, just a flat 0, and that shows me that you're not trying. So what do you mean by late? With everything on the beast, you have a 23-hour buffer zone. So it's due at 11:59 on a Friday, and so you have 23 hours to get that turned in to get full credit. All right, so if it's 1 hour late, there's even one that says less than an hour late, and then there's some that say 23 hours late or anything in between. I will still take it and give you full credit. As soon as it goes from 23 hours to 1 day, it's late. All right, you may get an 11:11, and that means see me. All right, there's something really wrong that you just need to, maybe you didn't understand the assignment. Maybe I didn't give the right instruction or something. There was some kind of disconnect somewhere. And so I just need you to come and talk to me. I'll explain what it is, and then you can redo it and turn it in for 100. You might see a 12.12 or a 13.13. 12.12, that's the second time that you've turned it in and there's something still wrong. 13.13 is the third time you've turned it in and something's really wrong. And that'll be it for today. All right, are there any questions about this assignment?